I mean, I still think at the end of the day, he's going to wind up facing a suspension, right? The question is, how long will it be? Is it going to be the 6? Is it going to be down to 4? Do they not have enough so that it only becomes 2 or 3? I don't know. And if it's just 2 or 3, do you trade for him with that, knowing that you got 13 or 14 games with him? Then a whole lot has to go. Like I said, there's so much that has to come out between now and when that would happen to really know.
No, I certainly hear you on that. As far as the other offensive spots here go for the Eagles, Zach Ertz being back with the Eagles and Howie Roseman saying he expects Zach Ertz to be on the team, with week 1. This team, all of a sudden, if some young guys work out, could have a lot of weapons for whoever their quarterback's going to be. It's all coming down to Nick Sirianni and his offense. And I know you were down there at practice today for the first session of training camp and all that. Anything jump out to you about Nick Sirianni's first training camp session running the offense?
Well, as it pertains to Zach Ertz, yeah, I mean, he was out there. Obviously they were in shorts and shells for day one. We're not in pads here. I was very curious to see. I knew Zach was going to show up, but how much they used him, if they use him at all. He did get in there at times. There weren't a ton of reps for guys who play positions where there are other spots. It's not like offensive line where you're playing every down, right. Tight ends, receivers, backs, they rotate. So it's not like I got a ton of reps. But what I did notice, which I think is a little bit telltale, and obviously the real telltale sign is, does he practice tomorrow, the next day? What about when pads come out? Because my personal belief is nothing has changed as far as him wanting to be somewhere else and the Eagles wanting him to be somewhere else, but getting value in return. So what's interesting for me to look at is, and I didn't see it today. I tried to watch every rep as possible. I did not see a situation where Ertz and Dallas Goedert were on the field at the same time in the same formation. I saw 11 personnel with Ertz. I saw 11 personnel with Goddard. Now, if you were trying to sell the public on Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert are both going to be on this roster, and they're both going to play, and the best of our abilities would be to put them on the field at the same time in 12 personnel like Doug Peterson used to do, then you would think there would be some plays with both of them on the field at the same time, but there were not. Now, day one, who knows? I'm just saying that if you're looking for any telltale signs, you're trying to play detective, I thought it was interesting that there was only 11 personnel that I noticed on the field.
Well, if their practices are anything like their press conferences, they ain't giving you nothing, Moshe. They ain't giving you nothing.
Probably not.
DeVonta Smith, Jalen Reagor, those guys. Was Reagor in sneakers today? Is that what I read?
So that was really interesting. He came out. First, he didn't come out, and then he came out and started warming up with the team. And then as soon as they did more than warm-ups, he left. So they said he had I forget how they diagnosed a lower leg injury. They said day to day. It's my understanding that it's very minor, that he might be back even the next day. So, or today, perhaps. And it's not it's more precautionary than anything. As far as DeVonta Smith, it was not his best day. You were hoping that the first round pick was going to show up, catch everything, look like Terrell Owens, and really give the whole package. And, he said it in his own press conference. He wasn't satisfied with his performance. He dropped a couple of balls, which is like not what he did at Alabama. And his routes, it didn't look like a clean, crisp separator on day one. Now it's day one. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I do think that for kids like that, big time picks or who have a lot of pressure on them, you press a little bit on your day one. And then when you're thinking a lot, it tends to make you, look slower out there on the field. So I'm not worried about it after day one. But I will be honest with you, it was not a very good practice for him. Nor was it one for Jalen Hurts.
I would expect. Oh, okay. So Jalen Hurts wasn't so sharp either.
No, he was. Look, he tried to thread the needle a couple of times. They mostly did red zone stuff on day one. So he tried to thread the needle to Gainwell at one point, got picked off by Josiah Scott. There was a play where he rolled to his left, tried to kind of do a pretend tuck like he was going to run, then stopped and threw it to DeVonta Smith in the left corner, and Darius Slay was all over it, broke it up. He did throw a touchdown on the next play to Smith in the other corner. But overall, and I will say this and until I'm blue in the face, right? For I've been doing this 15 years, right? The first 5, 6, 7 days of training camp practice, the defense is usually ahead of the offense because there's less timing, rhythm, syncopation things on defense than there are on offense. So it's not abnormal. I'm not slamming Hurts. I'm not slamming Smith. I'm just telling you what it was like on day one.
I would expect nothing but honesty from you, Geoff Mosher, as
go.
per usual. When can we catch the latest episode of Inside the Birds podcast with you and Adam Kaplan?
Yeah, Thursday morning, 6 a.m. We drop Monday and Thursdays, 6 a.m. So we'll have a recap of some of the, things that have gone on with the Eagles over the last few days. And we'll be doing that throughout training camp. And probably when the season starts, we'll go back to our 3 podcast per week, format. But right now, Monday, Thursday, 6 a.m.
All right, last thing for you here, left tackle battle, if you will. Andre Dillard, Jordan Mailata, only 1 day in the books, but who do you think is going to end up taking over that left tackle spot?
I think it's going to be Jordan Mailata. I do. And look, anything can happen. I thought he came into camp looking like he's in pretty good shape. It seemed like at the OTAs, he may have, looked a little bit bigger than they wanted, but he certainly looked the right size here in training camp. He did rotate on day one with Andre Dillard. You expect that they're going to do that. I just feel like the upside is a little higher. If this guy can be as much, kind of add to his pass protection, he's already a mauler. He's already pretty good against the bull rushers. He's a massive human being. Whereas Andre Dillard has to show who has naturally great feet, good pass protector against the speed rushers. He's got to show he can hold up to the bull rushers. He's got to show he can be a punishing run blocker. It seems like he has more that he would have to show than Jordan Mailata at the moment. That's not to say he can't do it or he can't bridge the gap, but you're asking me today, so I'm telling you, I would think Jordan Mailata, it's his job to lose.
Well, there you go. That's the right now thing that you just worked in there. Ray asked me today, right now to Jordan Mailata, starting left tackle.
A lot of wiggle room. That's what we do. We talk with wiggle room.
I will say this. I know I asked the question, who will be the starter week 1? When it comes to who will start the majority of the games for the Eagles in the 2021 season, I'm thinking it's Deshaun Watson over Joe Flacco, over Jalen Hurts. Do you think that would be a safe assumption?
It's so hard. I mean, Okay, look, I'll add to your, if somehow he is cleared and these maybe some of the allegations come down, maybe there's a settlement. There's a lot of talk about a settlement, right?
Yes.
And within that talk of a settlement, there is a discussion, or there's a point's been made by, I believe, Rusty Harden, the attorney for Deshaun, that he wants no NDAs. He wants to be able to disclose, which is the opposite. Usually you settle, you don't want anybody to know why you're settling or what the cash is. He wants that out there. If that winds up being true and happening, that there's a settlement where he gets to push his side of the story out there, unless these guys are the biggest idiots in the world, he and his lawyer, you would have to think that there's a reason and intent that their side of the story will show something different or much less, I guess, grueling as or egregious as what's being alleged. And if that's the case and there's really not a long suspension or it's a little, then you can see this all happening, right? But that's a lot of if right there that I gave you.
I got you. No, I thought the same exact thing, Moshe. I thought the same exact thing.